जनता भवतापहरं परमात्परायण लोकगतिं नवलेहकरं जगतापहरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत घोरवरं सततं जनता भवतापहरं परमात्परायण लोकगतिं नवलेहकरं जगतापहरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत घोरवरम्। निज भक्ति करम प्रिय चारुतरम नटनर्तन नागर राजकुलम कुलकामिनी मानस लास्य करम प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम। निज भक्ति करम प्रिय चारुतरम नटनर्तन नागर राजकुलम कुलकामिनी मानस लास्य करं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम्। करतालवलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवाद सुवीनकया मधुरं निज भक्ति गुणावृत नाट्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं। करतालवलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवाद्य सुवीनकया मधुरं निज भक्ति गुणावृत नाट्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम्। युगधर्मयुतं पूर्णनन्दसुतं धरणीयपुत्रं भवभावचितं तनुज्ञानचितं निजवासयुतं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं। युगधर्मयुतं पूर्णनन्दसुतं धरणीयपुत्रं भवभावचितं
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please respectful obeisances of those who confirm the Acharya Srila Prabhupada. We have only 3 students here. Do we wait for another 3 to 5 minutes or we should go ahead?
Yes, let's wait for 3-4 minutes. How many are first? 4.
There are only 3 students.
Yeah, so let's wait 5 minutes.
Okay.
नयनं चरणं वसनं वदने स्फलितं स्वकनामधरं कुरुते सुरसं जगत जीवनं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम्। अरुणं नयनं चरणं वसनं वदने स्फलितं स्वकनामधरं कुरुते सुरसं जगत जीवनं प्रणमामि शचीसुत सचीसुत गौरवरम् नव गौरवरं नव पुष्पसरं नव भावधरं नवलस्यपरम् नवहास्यकरं नव हेमवरं प्रणमामि सुत गौरवरं नवहास्यकरं नव हेमवरं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरं 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 नव गौरवरं नव पुष्पसरं नव भावधरं नवलस्यपरं नवहास्यकरं नव हेमवरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं नव गौरवरं नव पुष्पसरं नव भावधरं नवलस्यपरं नवहास्यकरं हेमवरं प्रणमामि सचीसुत गौरवरम् प्रेमयुतं नवनीतशुचं नववेशकृतं नवप्रेमरसं नवताविलसशुभ प्रेममयं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं नवप्रेमयुतं नवनीतशुचं नववेशकृतं नवप्रेमरसं नवताविलसशुभ प्रेममयं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् करजाप्यकरं हरिनाम परं नयने सततं प्रणयाब्रुधरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं हरिभक्ति परं हरिनाम परं नयने प्रणया प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम् सततं जनता भवतापहरं पर परमार्थ परायण लोक गतिं लेखकरं जगतापहरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं सततं जनतां भवतापहरं परमार्थपरायण लोकगतिं नवलेहकरं जगतापहरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम्। निज भक्ति करम प्रियकरम नटनराजकुलम कुलकामिनी मानसलास्यकरम प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम निज भक्ति करम प्रियचारुकरम नटनराजकुलम प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरम। करतालवलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवाद सुवीनकयावपुरं निज भक्ति गुणावृत नाट्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत गौरवरं करतालवलं कलकण्ठरवं मृदुवाद्य सुवीनकयावपुरं निज भक्ति गुणावृत नाट्यकरं प्रणमामि शचीसुत।
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes, let's stop, huh?
You are still having only 3 of us.
So, have you contacted them? What? How long are we going to wait?
Okay, one person just joined now, so we are 4. We can start.
Let's start.
Okay.
Because there's a Bhakti Shastri after.
Yes, Maharaj. You can start now. We waited 16 minutes.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanam Jnanasya Jana Janasrakaya. Yakshominitam Yatasmasu Navinamaha. Rishitana Mano Vitam Sakitayin Nabutale. Yam Rupakadahayam Dadati Sampadandikam. Adiham Sri Guru Yuta Pada Kamalam Sri Guru Vasavamsa. Sirupam Sagargitam Haradhultam Divam Savaritam Paritam Krishna Chaitanya Sri Krishna Pada Sahaganata He Krishna Karuna Sandhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisa Gopika Kanta Rarakam Namoste Tatana Gorangi Rade Vishavana Sukhidevi Pranamami Panchakalapatanu Jasta Kripa Sanajaya Vata Tanam Bhavane Vidya Vaishnava Vidya Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Chitta Kaminti Namine Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Tatmane Sri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Kaminti Namaste Sarvasudeve Gauravani Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pattasaritatane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Dhari Gaura Bhaktinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Nagate Grim. Yakti Bhattam. Okay, Hare Krishna everyone. So today we are finishing the list 2. We started the new chapter 7 yesterday. The son of Drona punished. So we stopped yesterday at verse 20. So today we go up to verse 40 and we stop. Hare Krishna, Mr. Prabhu. Today you are appearing.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah.
You're having a darshan today.
Oh, Maharaj, it's usually because of the network. Whenever we record a video, it takes so much, and the network is not good over here. So that's why we take off. So I'm doing that so that you see my presence, and then very soon I'll take off. I'll shut off the video. Thank you. I received your message yesterday, so I'm still on it. I'll reply you very well. Yes, to that. Thank you so much. Yes.
Yes, so we let's continue from where we stopped yesterday. Alika Prabhu, can you show the screen? Yes. Today, verse 21.
Maharaj, I should read?
Yes.
Tata praduspitam teja prachandam sarvato disam pranapadam abhipretsyaha Vishnum uvacha. Thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger. And so he began to address Lord Sri Krishna.
Yeah. Thereupon a glaring light spread in all directions. It was fierce, so fierce that Arjuna thought his own life in danger. And he began to address Krishna. Yes, so Asatama, the friend of Brahmanas, released the Brahmastra. He doesn't know how to bring it back. That has released it anyway. Yes. Where are we now? Which verse is this from?
Verse 22.
This is what?
Verse 22.
Okay. Okay, 1 minute. Arjuna uvacha Krishna Mahabhavo Bhaktanam Abhayankara Samhiko Dhamhananam Parvagoshi Samvasitehe. This is the translation.
Arjuna said, "O my Lord Sri Krishna, you are the almighty personality of Godhead. There is no limit to your different energies. Therefore, only you are competent to instill fearlessness in the hearts of your devotees. Everyone in the flames of material miseries can find the path of liberation in you only.
Yes. Papa?
Arjuna was aware of the transcendental qualities of Lord Sri Krishna, and he had already experienced them during the Kurukshetra war, in which both of them were present. Therefore, Arjuna's version of Lord Krishna is authoritative. Krishna is almighty, and is especially the cause of fearlessness for the devotees. The devotee of the Lord is always fearless because of this protection given by the Lord. Material existence is something like a blazing fire in the forest, which can be extinguished by the mercy of the Lord, Sri Krishna. The spiritual master is the mercy representative of the Lord. Therefore, a person burning in the flames of material existence may receive the rains of mercy of the Lord through the transparent medium of the self-realized spiritual master. The spiritual master, by his words, can penetrate into the heart of the suffering person and inject knowledge transcendental, which alone can extinguish the fire of material existence.
Yes. So let us consider, yes, Arjuna, although he has seen the danger, but quickly he connected himself to his master, Krishna, and at once became fearless. As a devotee, you will always be fearless. Because if you have the control of the universe, he said in the Bhagavad Gita, no? The last verse, for Krishna, no? Wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there will be opulences, there will be knowledge, there will be morality, there will be wealth, success. Yeah, so Arjuna, remember in the Mahabharata, when after the war, Krishna left, and before leaving, he asked his chariot driver, Daruka, to go to Dwarka and tell Arjuna to leave Dwarka because soon the ocean will cover the city, Dwarka city. So while the Arjuna and everyone in Dwarka, they were leaving, some armed robbers, some dacoits, some people, they came to disturb, to steal the gold, everything, the wealth. So Arjuna tried to shoot arrow to them. They could not. That was powerless. So immediately he started meditating on Krishna. Then automatically he came back to his power. So the system master is Krishna's external manifestation. We have Krishna Guru in our heart, the teacher Guru. The teacher Guru manifests himself as the living Guru. Yeah. So with that's how we do the prayer. Mukam kalo shiva sanam pangum nagate grim. Yattipatat aham vandesh gurum karanam. With the mercy, by the mercy of the spiritual master, a blind can count the stars in the sky. A lame man can jump over mountains, and someone who cannot speak can recite beautiful hymns and slokas just by the mercy. Yeah. So in our endeavor, we need this to Krishna and this is the master. When both are together, no danger, no fear. Okay, text 23. Sarika Prabhu is Vishnu. He's doing many things. Of course. Okay. Good, that's very good. You have been very absorbed in the word kata and also some other services. Good, very good. Yaduna Prabhu, can you read verse?
Okay, Maharaj. Tvam adya prasak sakshat Ishwara prakriti paraha Maya vyudasya chaktya Kaivadye steta atmani. Translation. You are the original personality of Godhead who expands himself all over the creations and is transcendental to material energy. You have cast away the effect of the material energy by dint of your spiritual potency. You are always situated in eternal bliss and transcendental knowledge.
So, who can explain the analogy of darkness in this verse? The analogy of darkness depending on the existence on the sun. If you read it, you can find it in the purport there. That's to avoid us to read all the purports. If you read in advance, then you can detect the analogy. Yes, anyone? And also, you know very well that there is one analogy in the 23. Nobody knows? Sarika, find an analogy on the verse, on the purpose. The analogy.
Maharaj.
I can read my phone here.
Darkness is perverse. Maharaj.
Yes.
Darkness is a perverse representation of the sun, and therefore the existence of darkness depends on the existence of the sun. But the sun in the proper, there is no case of darkness.
Yeah. As yes. The sun is full of light only. Similarly, the absolute personality of God beyond the material existence is full of bliss. It is not only full of bliss, but also full of transcendental awareness. Darkness is perverse representation of the sun. Therefore, the existence of darkness depends on the existence of the sun. But in the sun proper, there is no trace of darkness as the sun of rest. So you see, it is the analogy. The analogy of darkness depending on the existence of the sun. I mean, sometimes we have difficulty with Maya. That we should remember, we should always remember that Maya depends on Krishna. Yeah. There's one verse in Bhagavad Gita, I think 7:14. Devi esa guna mahi mama maya duradaya. It's said. This is energy. Devi is divine. Devi esa guna mahi. This energy is divine and it is my mama maya duradaya. That shows this energy, this divine energy is mine. And it's very, very, very difficult to overcome it. But those who take shade of me can easily, yes. Devi sabuna mahi mama maya duradaya mamme va ye papadante ayamitam tarante. This divine energy of mind, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Yes. When is the darkness? It's darkness because there is no sun. Darkness does not have its existence on its own. Okay? It's when there is no light, then we experience darkness. Okay, nobody created darkness. Darkness exists only when there is no light. That was created. Yes, but darkness just when there is light. Listen. So our problem is when Krishna is absent in our life. Just imagine, when as Fatama released Brahmastra, supposing he does not have Krishna, then he will be in panic. Because he has light, Krishna, the darkness means the Brahmastra of Fatama was very small issue for him. That is Krishna consciousness. It means we should always be Krishna conscious, be in light all the time. Okay, thank you. Verse 24.
Is there, Maharaj?
Chitra Putra Prabhu, can you read? Chitra Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. To get to on to sa eva jiva lokasya maya mohita chetasha vidaste swena vina Sriyo Damadi Lakshanam. Translation. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of the material energy, you execute the four principles of liberation characterized by religion and so on for the ultimate good of the conditioned souls.
Let's read some part of the beginning of the. Yes.
The personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, out of his causeless mercy, descends on the manifested world without being influenced by the material modes of nature. He is eternally beyond the material manifestation. He descends out of his causeless mercy only to reclaim the fallen souls who are captivated by the illusory energy. They are attacked by the material energy and they want to enjoy her under false pretext. Although, in essence, the living entity is unable to enjoy. One is eternally the servitor of the Lord. And when he forgets this position, he thinks of enjoying the material world. But factually, he is in illusion. The Lord descends to eradicate this false sense of enjoyment and thus reclaim conditioned souls back to Godhead. That is the all-merciful nature of the Lord for the fallen souls.
Yeah. And yet, though you are beyond the purview of material energy, you can execute the four principles of energy, right? They will make go good for the consumption. So Arjuna continue to pray the Lord. Verse 25.
Verse 25. Tatayam chavataraste bhuvo barajihi saya swanam chanaya bhavanam anudyanaya chasakret. Translation. Thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are wrapped in meditation upon you. Purport. It appears that the Lord is partial to his devotees. Everyone is related with the Lord. He is equal to everyone, and yet he is more inclined to his own men and devotees. The Lord is everyone's father. No one can be his father, and yet no one can be his son. His devotees are his kinsmen, and his devotees are his relations. This is the transcendental pastime. It has nothing to do with mundane ideas of relations, fatherhood, or anything like that. As mentioned above, the Lord is above the modes of material nature, and thus there's nothing mundane about his kinsmen and relations in devotional service.
Yeah. So who remember a verse similar to this verse? On Bhagavad Gita.
Chapter 9.
Huh?
Chapter 9.
Oh, this verse is actually similar to this verse in Bhagavad Gita. No. Not the thing. Yes. One verse in Bhagavad Gita. Chapter, I think chapter 4. No?
Okay, you're talking. I thought you're talking of another verse.
Which one?
Okay.
Iman. Which verse do you have in mind?
Chapter 9. To those who are explicitly devoted to loving me with devotion, I provide for them, I preserve what they have.
No. This one says, thus you descend as an incarnation to remove the burden of the world and to benefit your friends, especially those who are your exclusive devotees and are constantly wrapped in meditation upon you. It is
You're right, man. To deliver the pious.
Yeah. To deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants, as well as to establish the principle of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. Also the same, the other one. Yes. Good. Let's go on verse 26.
Maharaj.
Yes.
Maharaj. I think that's also a relevant chapter text in Gita. Samohaham sababuti su. Naminji still sinapia. But Jatimam, but Jamai says to Tapia. I'm equal to everyone. For those who render loving service can be a friend, I am in them and they are also in me.
That's very good. Very good. Yes. See, sometimes when you do essay, you don't just repeat what is in the book. You can also quote some other verses. You see, that's very good. Which verse is that? Which chapter? And okay, let's go. 26.
Verse 9:30.
Who are not read yet? Let's see. Kamal Krishna Prabhu is there. He has gone. And Phoenix notes.
Madhuban has not read.
Madhuban Prabhu, please
wait. Okay. So this is 26. Okay, we have to read 26.
Yes, 26.
Okay. Kimedam sweet pito beti. Deva na redmi aham. Sabeto mukam ayati. Teja parama daru naham. Translation. O Lord of Lords, how is it that this dangerous effulgence is spreading all around? Where does it come from? I do not understand. The purpose. Anything that is presented before the personality of Godhead should be so done after due presentation of respectful prayers. That's the standard of procedure. And Sri Arjuna, although an intimate friend of the Lord, is observing this method for general information.
So there is one very last point in the verse, the purpose. Anything that is presented before the personality of God should be done after due repetition of respectful prayers. That is the standard procedure. And please, Arjuna, although an intimate friend of the Lord, is observing this method for general. Yeah. Sometimes when we have projects, we have anything we have a devotee has to do, you need to pray with the ladies or to the system master. Why there is the nine angles? There is Vandana. It looks like it seems like sometimes devotee does not pray much. One day the Papa was going on with devotees, someone devotees. I think that was in America, and he went to pray business with the deities. And in disciples, Jesus, when you're not very absorbed in Krishna, when you pray business, it's less than 1 minute, and we woke up. Huh? But Srila Prabhupada, he prayed business full Dhamma for about 2-3 minutes. And when finished prayer business, would sit there, kneel down, and shedding tears. After that, the devotees asked him, "Yes, Papa, we are still in material consciousness. We can pray, we can still cry. And you, pure devotee, self-realizable, why are you still crying?" So Prabhupada told them that, look, that is the difference between you and me. You guys, you are not afraid of Maya. You are practicing Krishna consciousness in Prakriti. Don't forget that the verse we just read. Yesterday also we saw that there are 3 energies: external energy, the internal energy, and the marginal. We are marginal energy. So if you don't pray, it means we are using our material consciousness to do everything, we will fail. By praying means we recognize the presence of the Lord, just like Arjuna. Then we will always succeed. Yes. I think we are lacking this concept of praying. And said that anything that is presented before the Supreme Personality of God should be so done after due presentation of respectful prayers. That is the standard procedure. And Sri Arjuna, although an intimate friend of the Lord, is observing this method for general information. So we should learn from it. Ladies are there. Most of the time you don't really pray to them. Maybe you pray to them when there is danger, when you need, urgent needs. But it should develop a relation with the deity. Talk with them. Hare Krishna. Verse 20, 28, 27.
If we are to continue reading.
Yes, read.
Sri Bhagavan Vacha Pritidam Juna Putrasya Brahmana Acham Padashitam Naivastu Eva Samsaram Parambari Pada Upasiti. Translation. The Supreme Personality of God says, "Know from me that this is the act of the son of Drona. He has thrown the hymns of nuclear energy, Brahmastra, and he does not know how to retract clear. He has helplessly done this, being afraid of imminent death." Purpose. The Brahmastra is similar to the modern nuclear weapon manipulated by atomic energy. The atomic energy works only on total combustibility, and so the Brahmastra also acts Creates an insoluble heat similar to atomic radiation. But the difference is that the atomic bomb is a gross type of nuclear weapon, whereas the Brahmastra is a soft type of weapon produced by chanting hymns. It is a different sign, and the day is gone by such signs was cultivated in the land of Bharat Vasta. The soft science of chanting hymns is also material, but it has yet to be known by the modern material scientists. Soft material science is not spiritual, but it has a direct relationship with the spiritual method, which is still software. A chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as how to retract it. That was perfect knowledge. But the son of Dronacharya, who has made use of this soft science, did not know how to retract. He applied it, being afraid of its imminent death, and thus the practice was not only improper, but also irreligious. As the son of a Brahmana, he should not have made so many mistakes, and for such gross negligence of duty, he was to be punished by the Lord himself.
Yeah. So the substance of chanting hymn is also material, but it has yet to be known by the modern material scientists. The substance material science is not, but it has a direct relationship with the physical method. Still, a chanter of hymns knew how to apply the weapon as well as how to retract it. Yeah, so nowadays, people don't know this Brahmastra. So we have gone, we have so many things. But the point is that if you release a weapon, you must also know the science of withdrawing it back. That knowledge was lacking to give them, right? Because he's a son of a Brahmana. A son of a Brahmana, a friend of a Brahmana is not a Brahmana. So he said he has committed so many mistakes. Yeah. There's a difference between the Brahmana and the non-Brahmana, Shudra. Indra. Make so many mistakes and they create disaster to the system. So you have so many Azatamas now in the world. That's why there's so much confusion. So much confusion. The culture of Brahmana is no more there. Okay. Verse 28. Salita Prabhu, can we?
Nahi asyan yatama kinshit astram pratyavakasanam jahi astrateja unadaham astrajnoi astratejasaha. O Arjun, only another Brahmastra can counteract this weapon. Since you are expert in the military science, subdue these weapons, glare, with the power of your own weapon. Purple. For the atomic bombs, there is no counter weapon to neutralize the effects. But by subtle science, the action of a Brahmastra can be counteracted. And those who were experts in the military science in those days could counteract the Brahmastra. The son of Drona Acharya did not know the art of counteracting the weapon, and therefore Arjuna was asked to counteract it by the weapon of his own weapon.
Yeah, so there is a song. Today we divided the Vedas into 4. One section of the Veda Atharva, I think it is Atharva Veda. Yes, Atharva Veda deals with war business, meaning concerning war. How to utilize weapons. Yeah, and also in those days, you can direct an arrow to a particular person. You may be in Africa and chant a mantra and direct that particular arrow to a particular person in America or in China. And the arrow will go and kill that person and come back. Now, these times is no more there. People just shoot bomb in a whole country. They don't know how to contract. So Arjuna, he knows the science. So I think Krishna is asking him to contract it with the power of his own weapon. Because Arjuna is a friend of Krishna. Text 29.
Should continue, Maharaj?
Yes, let me read. Sutta uvacha srudva bhagavata prokam palguna paraviraha Sri sattas sampai kamya brahmaskam sandade. Translation. Sutta Goswami said, hearing this from this person of God, Arjuna touched water for purification, and after circumambulating Lord Sri Krishna, it cast his Brahmastra weapon to contract the other one. Yeah. Before revealing the Brahmastra, Arjuna touched water. Yeah, Arjuna touched water. Water is powerful. In Africa, even can take water. This is water. Singly, the young Brahmana, it cuts Maharaj Sarachis. Water is very powerful. Yes, verse 30. Huh?
Verse 30.
Yes.
It's on the screen, Maharaj.
Please.
Samhatyan yom ubaya os tejasi sarasam vite abritya rodasi kamchaha vavridate anivat. Translation: when the rays of its two Brahmastra combine, a great cycle of fire, like the disk of the sun, covered all outer space and the whole firmament of planets. The heat created by the flash of the Brahmastra resembled the fire exhibited in the sun glow at the time of cosmic annihilation. The radiation of atomic energy is very insignificant in comparison to the heat produced by the Brahmastra. The atomic bomb explosion can at utmost blow up one globe, but the heat produced by the Brahmastra can destroy the whole cosmic situation. A comparison is therefore made to the heat at the time of annihilation.
Yes, these verse 30 and 31 are describing how powerful is the heat produced by the Brahmastra. Let's go on 31.
Drishtas Vastra Tejas Tutayus Trilokam Prada Amo Mahat Daya Mana Praja Asarga Samvatakam Amam Sata. All the population of the three worlds was scourged by the combined heat of the weapons. Everyone was reminded of the Samvataka fire, which takes place at the time of annihilation. Purpose. The three worlds are the upper, lower, and intermediate planets of the universe. Although the Brahmastra was released on this earth, the heat produced by the combination of both weapons covered all the universe, and all the populations on all the different planets began to feel the heat excessively and compared it to that of the Samvataka fire. No planet, therefore, is without living being, as less intelligent materialistic men think.
So see from verse 30 to 31, can see the power of the Brahmastra. Then people were feeling the heat from other planets. It's like when Dhruva was meditating, fasted. It was doing after Vishnu appeared to tell him that, look, you are eating. Now it's the Guru. Now the one told him, you want to see Vishnu? You are eating. Stop what's for. Then he stopped eating. So eating only leaves that come to fall from the leaves by themselves. And again, the money appeared that, look, so you are still enjoying leaves? Then Dhruva stopped also eating leaves. Then the money again appeared. So, oh, you are breathing? Because Dhruva Maharaj was breathing normally, yes. So he told him, look, if you breathe all the time like this, you cannot achieve what you want. So he was breathing for once in three months. No? Just like Mahavishnu. No? He exhaled and all the material cosmic manifested. And at the time of the annihilation, we withdrew everything in his body. So Dhruva stopped breathing. He was breathing only once, 6 months. And again, Ramani appeared. Oh, you are still breathing. Okay. Then again, stopped breathing and now started breathing once in 3 months. Can you imagine? When you start doing that, then is the whole atmosphere. Dhruva was able to stop the hair in the atmosphere, and even demigod were suffocating. So the Brahmastra is very powerful. Even the other planets also they were suffering, they were feeling the heat of the. And he said that the Samvataka fire, there is the fire of annihilation. At the time of annihilation, Lord Shiva will appear. And these 5 elements also will manifest fire, water, ether, earth, and so on. They will appear. The fire will burn everything. Then everything will be completely zero in the form of ether. And again, Vishnu, Mahavishnu will bring it inside to inhale. Hare Krishna. Verse 32.
Please to read now, Maharaj.
Yes, who is there? Peter is there?
I'm here, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, Maharaj, I'm here.
Read the verse.
Okay. Rajo Padrabam Alasya Loka Vyati Karam Chatam Matam Cha Vasudevasya Sanjahara Dwayam. Translation. That seeing the disturbance of the general populace and the imminent destruction of the planets, Arjuna at once retracted both Brahmastra weapons as Lord Sri Krishna desired. Purpose. The theory that the modern atomic bomb explosions can annihilate the world is childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. And secondly, ultimately, it all rests on the supreme will of the Supreme Lord, because without his will or sanction, nothing can be built up or destroyed. It is foolish also to think that natural laws are ultimately powerful. Material nature's law works under the direction of the Lord, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says there that the natural laws work under his supervision. The world can be destroyed only by the will of the Lord, and not by the whims of tiny politicians. Lord Sri Krishna desired that the weapons released by both Drauni and Arjuna be withdrawn, and it was carried out by Arjuna at once. Similarly, there are many agents of the all-powerful Lord, and by his will only can one execute what he desires.
Yeah. So in this verse, in the purport, there are questions there. What general principle does Srila Prabhupada show from the retraction of both Brahmastra weapons by Arjuna? How does this verse inspire you? What is the main point of Srila Prabhupada? What is the point Srila Prabhupada is making here? Yes? Any volunteer? What general principle does Srila Prabhupada draw from the retraction of both Brahmastra weapons by Arjuna? From this purpose. Yeah, you can check it on the purpose. Yes.
As the point Prabhupada makes, yeah.
Yeah.
That without the will of the Lord, nothing can happen, even if we plan to do anything.
Yes. So, whether Brahmastra or whatever atomic nuclear bomb, yeah, everything depends on the will of the world. The theory in the beginning, the theory that the modern atomic bomb explosion can annihilate the world is childish imagination. First of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. Secondly, ultimately, it all rests on the will of the Son, will of the Son Lord, because without his will or sanction, nothing can be built or destroyed. Yes. The one verse, any verse, any proverb is very famous in ISKCON. Rake Krishna Mareke, Mare Krishna Rakeke. Who knows? Translation. Rake Krishna Mareke, Mare Krishna Rakeke. You know that? Is there Babu there? And finish notes.
Yes, hey. I'm here.
Yeah, do you know the meaning of this? Rake Krishna Mareke, Mare Krishna Rakeke.
Whoever Krishna wants to kill, no one can save, and whoever Krishna wants to save, no one can kill.
Yeah. So this verse says that first of all, the atomic energy is not powerful enough to destroy the world. And secondly, ultimately, it's always on the supreme will of the Supreme Lord, because without his will or sanction, nothing can be built or destroyed. Yes. So devotees should, when we read these verses, that will give us strong faith, confidence. Text 33.
Tata asadya tarasha darunam gautami sutam.
Please wait. It's not on the screen yet. Wait a minute. Huh? 1 minute. Yes, go on. Go ahead. Start again.
Okay. Tata asadya tarasha darunam gautami sutam. Babandama satam rasha pasum rasanaya ayata. Translation. Arjuna, his eyes blazing in anger like two red balls of copper, dexterously arrested the son of Gautami and bound him with ropes like an animal. Purport. Aswatthama's mother, Priti, was born in the family of Gautama. The significant point in this sloka is that Aswatthama was caught and bound up with ropes like an animal. According to Sridhara Swami, Arjuna was obliged to catch this son of a Brahmana like an animal as a part of his duty, Dharma. This suggestion by Sridhara Swami is also confirmed in the later statement of Sri Krishna. Aswatthama was a bona fide son of Dronacharya and Kripi, but because he had degraded himself to a lower status of life, it was proper to treat him as an animal and not as a Brahmana.
So you see, as the son of Brahmana or son of Brahmana, it's not treated as a Brahmana, you know. So here, Aswatthama is being treated as an animal. As not tying him with a rope. Verse 34. Yajna Prabhu, read 34. Sarika Prabhu?
Yes, Maharaj.
Well, when Sarika put the 34 and read us, just 34.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sibiraya me santam rajwa badwa ripum balat prahajonam prakopito bhagavan ambujik sanaha. Translation. After binding Aswatthama, Arjuna wanted to take him to the military camp. The personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to angry Arjuna. Purport. Both Arjuna and Lord Sri Krishna are described here in an angry mood, but Arjuna's eyes were like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of the Lord were like lotuses. This means that the angry mood of Arjuna and that of the Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendental and thus he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not like the anger of a conditioned living being within the modes of qualitative material nature. Because he is absolute, both his anger and pleasure are the same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee. because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances.
Yeah, you can see that from the translation. The presence of God is Sri Krishna looking on with his lotus eyes, spoke to Arjuna in angry mood. So if he's there, that's why sometimes he's not. Krishna normally does not seek anger, does not become hungry. When you disturb the devotee, Krishna become really, really disturbed. Because the arrow was shot in the direction on the grandson of Arjuna, Parikshit. Then Krishna became very, very, very angry. But his eyes were still like lotus because his transcendental personality. Yeah. Any questions so far? Because we're going towards the end. Yeah, we will stop at verse 40 as we decided yesterday. If no question, I'll go on text 35. Text 35.
"13 things to avoid if you..."
I should read.
Wait a minute. Where's the techno? Come on, who is that? Can you read? Techno, come on. 16. Phoenix notes. Who are they? Do you know them?
It's Atma Tattva Prabhu and Rasavan Prabhu. Atma Tattva and Rasavan.
One of them to read. Rasavan Prabhu is there. Please read. Or Atma Tattva Prabhu. Kamal. Is it Kamal? Okay. Maybe they are not. The camera is not there. Okay, Sarika Prabhu, read.
Mainam Alta Asitratum Brahma Bandam Imam Jahi Yosaf Anagasa Aatukam Avadin Sibalakam. Lord Sri Krishna said, O Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana, Brahma Bandhu, for he has killed innocent boys in their sleep. Purpose. Brahma Bandhu is significant. A person who happens to take birth in the family of a Brahmana but is not qualified to be called a Brahmana is addressed as the relative of a Brahmana and not as a Brahman. The son of a high court judge is not virtually a high court judge, but there is no harm in addressing a high court judge's son as a relative of the honorable justice. Therefore, as by birth only one does not become a high court judge, so also one does not become a Brahmana simply by birthright, but by acquiring the necessary qualification of a Brahmana. As the high court judgeship is a post for the qualified man, so also the post of a Brahmana is attainable by qualification only. The Shastra enjoins that if good qualifications are seen in a person born in a family other than that of a Brahmana, the qualified man has to be accepted as a Brahmana. And similarly, if a person born in a family of a Brahmana is void of Brahmanical qualification, then he must be treated as a non-Brahmana, or in better terms, a relative of a Brahmana. Lord Sri Krishna, the supreme authority of all religious principles, the Vedas, has personally pointed out these differences, and he is about to explain the reason for this in the following slokas.
Yeah. So Lord Krishna, Sri Krishna said, Arjuna, oh Arjuna, you should not show mercy by releasing this relative of a Brahmana Bandhu, boy has killed innocent boys in their sleep. Yeah. Not only he did that, he killed innocent boy in their sleep, and again he has release another Brahmastra to kill another baby in the womb. So the question of releasing him, not possible. Yeah. So and in the Bible, so many examples are there. If you are your father is a high court judge, doesn't mean that you are also a judge. If your father is a doctor, doesn't mean that you are a doctor. Yes. That's 36. Yes. Who is Madhuban Prabhu?
Okay. Hare Krishna Maharaj. Verse 36. Matam pramatam humtam saptam balam siyam jadam baparnam viratam vitam naripum amki damadi. Translation. A person who knows the principles of religion does not kill an enemy who is careless, intoxicated, insane, asleep, afraid, or devoid of his chariot. Nor does he kill a boy, a woman, a foolish creature, or a surrendered soul. The purpose. An enemy who does not resist is never killed by a warrior who knows the principles of religion. Formerly, battles were fought on the principles of religion and not for the sake of sense gratification. If the enemy happens to be intoxicated, asleep, etc., as above mentioned, he was never to be killed. These are some of the codes of religious war. Formerly, war was never declared by the whims of selfish political leaders, but it was carried out on religious principles free from all vices. Violence carried out on religious principles is far superior to so-called non-violence.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
So here are some Shastriya codes for war found in the Atharva Veda. Now in the battlefield, and battle of Kurukshetra, they were fighting with equal weapons. You are fighting with someone, and his mace fall from his hands, and you cannot get it back. Either you wait for him to pick it back, or you also draw your own mace down. You fight with hands. But it is not like that. Nowadays, we have the culture or the mentality of Asvatama. We went till the babies' boys were sleeping. Yeah. So in the very time people were really in goodness, they were observing this code. He said that in the Tila Kurukshetra, after the fight for the day, in the evening they all meet and discuss about this. Is it possible now? No, not possible. Verse 37. Tamal Krishna. Tamal Krishna. Is Tamal Krishna Babu, can you read? There. Tamal Krishna Babu. Or Sabha Babu. Okay. And you learn Babu. Read.
Hare Krishna. Jai Maharaj.
Yes.
Read.
Can I read?
Yes.
Swapranamya parapranay prapusnati agrana kala tadvadastasya hishreyo yadosadyati adaba pumam. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' life deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down by his own actions. Should I read the purpose?
Yesterday we were discussing about capital punishment. So this verse is talking about capital punishment. A cruel and wretched person who maintains his existence at the cost of others' lives deserves to be killed for his own well-being. Otherwise, he will go down on his own action. When in Vedic culture, they were applying this. It's very rare because many people were I think I'll read some line of the purpose. First paragraph. Let's go ahead.
Jai Maharaj. A life for a life is just punishment for a person who cruelly and shamelessly lives at the cost of another's life. Political morality is to punish a person by a death sentence in order to save a poor person from going to hell. That a murderer is condemned to a death sentence by the state is good for the culprit, because in his next life, he will not have to suffer for his act of murder. Such a death sentence for the murderer is the lowest possible punishment offered to him. And it is said in the Smriti Shastras that men who are punished by the king on the principle of a life for a life are purified of all their sins. So much so that they may be eligible for being promoted to the planets of heaven. According to Manu, the great author of civic codes and religious principles, even the killer of an animal is to be considered a murderer, because animal food is never meant for the civilized man, whose prime duty is to prepare himself for going back to Godhead. He says that in the act of killing an animal, there is a regular conspiracy by the party of sinners, and all of them are liable to be punished as murderers, exactly like a party of conspirators who kill a human being combinedly. He who gives permission, he who kills the animal, he who sells the slaughtered animal, he who cooks the animal, he who administers distribution of the foodstuff, And at last, he who eats such cooked animal food are all murderers, and all of them are liable to be punished by the laws of nature. No one can create a living being. Should I stop?
Yes, okay, it's okay. Because yeah, it's okay, it's okay. Because Papa is very long. And yes, Shankara was he would give permission. Yes, very good that he has analyzed it. Yeah, please show it again. That's why I know devotees, you don't mix with material energy. You don't do artificial charity. We have a out of charity in the goodness, in the ignorance, and in the passion. Charity in the mode of goodness is good. Charity in the mode of passion is not good. In ignorance is not good. Yeah. Sometimes we see people apparently very good, that they have some serious problem. Sometimes a whole family, father, the mother, the kids, they go on a trip or on a journey, they all die in accident, car accident. And but in the area they live, they are very, very gentle, very kind to everyone. Which kind of kindness? You know? Yeah, he said he would give permission. He will kill the animal. He will sell the slaughter animal. He will cook the animal. He will administer distribution of the food. And at last, he will eat the cooked animal food or murder. Because there are 6 personalities involved in sin. Yeah, so we be careful. That's why devotees generally, we don't give money. Give food for life, give things, gifts in kind, dress or food or fruits. If you give money to the body, you go and buy meat, and you are devoted. You are trying to prepare yourself, and you see that you have some difficulty in your progress. You don't know why. You are following all the principles. You don't understand why your progress is very slow. So material energies, you need to be very, very, very careful. And also in the beginning, we said that killing someone who has committed a serious crime is good for himself, because that way he will not have to suffer in hell. That was the reason for capital death. But I mentioned to you yesterday, in Kali Yuga, there is no assurance, there is no certainty that that the person is real responsible of the action. That's why it's abolished. Otherwise, in the Vedic time, it was done. But again, everything should be applied according to Kala Disha Patra. Usually, acharyas are there, the shastras are there, but the living guru, based on the shastra and the shadows, he has to deliver the relevant decision based on the situation. Yeah. So don't, because we read this one, and tomorrow, you're going to kill someone. Because yes, I'm killing him because when I kill him, that's to prevent him from going to hell. The police will catch you. Police is not real Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Maharaj, I think there is a question that needs to be answered in the last comments you made in the explanation of this question. Especially for those who are in Africa generally, or European countries, or Western countries generally. Maybe this is not be a big challenge for those who are in India or any of the Asian countries where the culture of animal killing is not very predominant. You specifically mentioned that devotees sometimes wouldn't know why they're suffering or still going through challenges even when they're doing devotional service, they're chanting the rounds and everything. But giving money to people who are killing animals. And we understand that average devotee within the Western world, Europe, America, Africa, grossly 90% of these devotees are coming from a background where meat eating is a standard. And it's a duty of the son to take care of the parents. And because of duty, the son gives the money to the father or to the mother to be able to sustain themselves. Father takes the money and buy meat and they eat.
Yes.
How do we balance? Because the son is doing his duty. If he does not give money to the father or the mother, he is also indebted. And in the beginning days of the movement in West Africa, I think this is one of the foundational reasons why the philosophy of don't go to your parents, don't see your parents, don't go to your family. But then, it's like Gurudev taught us that we should show them compassion, we should visit them. And when you visit them, they feel you should take care of them. So, can you give an explanation on this seemingly controversial?
Yes, it's very good. Good that you are raising this point. Yes, that's why a devotee should be very, very, very serious and have full faith in Krishna. Yesterday we were doing we were online class on Bhakti Sracha. This same topic we discussed about that yesterday. No, that how to deal with our parents or relatives as a devotee. Yes, as a devotee, we have principles. So we should always abide by those principles. Never compromise. So it is a duty for a devotee to be an expert. A devotee should be daksha, to be an expert in so much that he can be able, through his devotion to Krishna, he can be able to convince, not sometimes, it's not 100%, at least to a certain extent. So your parents will know that, hey, this is our son, although he's doing another religion we don't understand, that they don't eat meat. So it should be friendly, it should develop a friendship in such a way that when we go to them, we can give them a bag of rice, can give them oil, gallon of oils, can give them things in kind, not money, can buy clothes for them. Like me, myself, every year, I visit my parents, but I never give them cash. Know very well that they're going to use it for me. My father, my mother, my brother, my brothers and sisters, they know that I'm vegetarian for many years. So when I go there, sometimes I buy clothes for my father, for my mother, shoes, something like that. I'm very careful about that. So don't be sentimental. That's why also we should, as I said, if our devotion is very strong, Krishna, in the heart of our parents, they will understand that yes, our son is in this Hare Krishna movement. They don't eat meat, they don't do this, they don't drink alcohol. So there's no question for us to bother him with our meditation system. They can understand that it's not very easy all the time. Huh? But the best thing is to avoid involving ourselves in these kind of things. We don't do. If we encourage others to do, mean we are sharing the karma. You know the story of Narada Muni and the hunter. Narada Muni asked him, "Do you know that these animals you are killing and going to share with your wife and kids? Do you know that you're going to hell?" "Oh, I didn't know." He said, "Okay, go and ask your wife and your sons that are they ready to share the karma with you?" And when he went to ask the wife said, "No way. You are the husband. It's your duty to bring food at home. If there is sin involved in this killing animals, you bear it alone. Don't disturb me." The kid also said the same thing. So he came back to Narada Muni. And Narada Muni said, "I told you, see, your own wife, even she's not ready to share your karma with you. Your own sons, they are not ready to share your karma with you. and you are continuing to please them, then that won't never go back to family again. It became that was a Mirgar, you know, story of Mirgar. Do you know that story? Salika Babu is there?
Yes,
Salika Babu is there?
yes,
Yeah.
Maharaj. Carry the answer.
There's a lot to say. Actually, this is a very controversial topic. It's a very deep topic, but this for now, this is what I can say. Maybe someone on the platform can have something to comment on it. It's not easy though, but as devotee, should play our part. Yeah.
Yes, Maharaj. I think your explanations are right. But there are so many stories crossing my mind though. And there's a story of a butcher who is a Brahmana, but he became a butcher. In the Puranas, we read a story like that. I'm remembering that story, and the story of this butcher Brahmana and a disciple, a young Brahmana and his guru. And the guru asked him to go to that one village to meet one great devotee of the Lord and get further instructions from him. And the young brother went to that village, and then when he followed the description, eventually when he got there, he found out that the person that matches the description was a butcher. He was he was selling meat in the marketplace, and he couldn't bear it. How can my Guru Maharaj, knowing fully well the principles of non-violence, the principles of Krishna consciousness, how would he send me to such a person, a butcher? And the young boy had to go back, even though it was such a long journey, so many days. He had to go back to his Guru Maharaj and he said, Guru, please, I think you made a mistake. You sent me to a wrong person. And the Guru sent him back to go. And he went after several days. He finally got back to the place. And then when he got to the place, he met the Brahmana who is selling meat. This time he couldn't go back because already the Splendor said he must wait for him. So when he identified himself to the Brahmana told him, please go to my house. My wife is there and wait for me. And he went there and waited. When he finally got to that, when the Brahmana finally came, he took his shower, cleaned himself up, and then he went into his puja room and he told the young Brahmana, please wait for me, let me finish my prayers. Then when I finish my prayer, I will start teaching you as your guru instructed. And he went inside. And when he went inside, he did his puja and he started chanting the glories of the Lord. He was reading the scriptures. And in the course of his reading the scriptures, he fell into ecstasy. And the young Brahmana was confused. How is this? How can this person be? So there is a long story that I read several years in the Bible, one of the Puranas. And several other similar experiences. And we also know that in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, Lord Krishna says that one should not avoid his duty, even when they are covered with some faults. And there's several others, so many things that are coming to the mind. And I'm looking at the devotee would not voluntarily want to commit sin, but this aspect, many devotees have approached me, have also these same challenges, and many other persons have said, well, look, my parents are my responsibility, they are old now. It's not like they can fend for themselves, and I have to take care of them. And in most of the cases, devotees are not even in the environment where their parents is, where they would have to go and buy some things. The world is not like what it was in the Vedic age. So sometimes the son is in US or even within a country. My parents are 1,200 kilometers away from where I am. And so many experiences. I'm just trying to see how we can resolve this, because it's a very topical.
Yeah, I think you have to take this matter to GDC.
Maharaj,
Yes.
maybe I can chip in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, this is a modern age, like you said, but if I send money to my parents, I'll tell them specifically what the money should be for. Don't use my money to buy cow.
Are you there to check?
Well, once if you give instruction and the deviate, then the thing is not my own again. That is that's their problem. That's their problem.
Actually, an interesting topic. I think it can be. I have several verses are coming to my head, but I think for the sake of this class, we can conclude the. But it's something that we discuss further. I remember recently I had to do marriage ceremony for one of my sons, and then we had to do several things. So when it comes to what is going to be fed to the guest, the father, the wife's father and mother are all Muslims. They are meat eaters, and my boy also asked a whole lot of people around me, my family members. So they asked, "You have said everything. You've taken care of everything, and you didn't mention anything concerning food. When we do wedding, are you saying that nobody's going to give because you don't give me? Where's the money for the food?" And I said, "I won't give." And then they said, "But then people have to feed, and you are the father of this boy. You have to take responsibility." I said, "Yes, I will do it only on one condition. If you allow me to give them prashadam with cord, then I will do it." They said, "This will not be possible. This is not going to be possible. Make arrangement for yourself for how to feed. I've taken care of every other thing. But the food aspect, you take care." But it is not very easy like this in every situation. As we grow, most especially when we're in Grihastha ashram, there are so many complicated issues. Sometimes your daughter, your son is married, getting married, so many. But like I said, and maybe we look, there are several scriptures that are coming to the head in both sides, for and against this kind of a complexities. Hare Krishna. I just wanted to lighten the class.
Get from that. Because of time, let's finish the verses that remain, quickly. Verse 38.
Who should read, Maharaj?
Yes, we can read.
You said I should read, Maharaj?
Yes.
Pratrisrutam chabhavata panchalya srimvato mama arishye tirastasyaha yaste manini putraha. Furthermore, I personally add, you promised Drupadi that you would bring forth the head of the killer of her sons.
Yes. Next verse.
Papa. Yes. Atatai atma bandhiha Baltucha vipriyam vira kritaman kulapam sana. This man is an assassin and murderer of your own family members. Not only that, but he has also dissatisfied his master. He is but the burnt remnant of his family. Kill him immediately. Should I read the purport? Or we go forward to the next verse?
We conclude.
And verse 40, 1740. Sutta Sulta Uvacha Evam Parit Sata Dhamman Parata Krishnena Kodita Naicha Dantum Guru Sutam Jadyapi Atma Anamaan.
It's not shown on the
Sutta Goswami
screen,
said, although, yes, that's number 40.
Okay. Okay.
Sutta Goswami said, Sutta Goswami said, although Krishna, who was examining Arjuna in religion, encouraged Arjuna to kill the son of Dronacharya. Arjuna, a great soul, did not like the idea of killing him. Although Ashwatthama was a heinous murderer of Arjuna's family members, purported by Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna was a great soul under heaven, which is proved here also. He is encouraged herein personally by the Lord to kill the son of Drona. But Arjuna considered that the son of his great teacher should be spared. For he happens to be the son of Drona Acharya, even though he is an unworthy son, having done all sorts of heinous acts whimsically for no one's benefit. Lord Krishna encouraged Arjuna outwardly just to rest Arjuna's sense of duty. It is not that Arjuna was incomplete in the sense of his duty, nor was Lord Sri Krishna unaware of Arjuna's sense of duty. But Lord Sri Krishna puts to the rest many of his pure devotees just to magnify the sense of duty. The gopis were put to such test as well. Prahlad Maharaj also was put to such a test. Our pure devotees come out successful.
Our pure devotee. Finish? Haribol?
Hare Krishna.
Haribol?
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
So you see, from the verse 35 to 54, these are arguments against protecting the Tama or punishing him. Like that. But we are stopping here for this section. And when the person will continue, we have more arguments. Krishna, he wants Tama to be killed. Arjuna also saying another thing. And they will get a conclusion that still Aswatthama will be punished. He will not be free, be punished. When we get to that until the end of this 54 and 54, and we'll see how Aswatthama will be punished. With the agreement of Arjuna and Krishna himself. Yes. So any question, any comments? Okay, the time is very short now. I think within the day, the week, I will contact His Grace Chaitanya Prabhu for the exam and everything, and let you know. Yes, now we only is 9:22. Not enough time. So if you have one comment or question, I'm going to take it, and we conclude this unit 2.
Maharaj, thank you very much. I just wanted to use this opportunity to express our deep appreciation for taking us through this unit 2. It was such an interesting and wonderful journey. On behalf of myself and all of the students, we want to thank you so much because it was such an enlivening sections. Your approach to teaching makes it very simple, even though it's such a studying Bhagavatam isn't that very easy subject matter. But by your attitude and approach, you made it so very enlivening and easy to understand. We want to express our deep appreciation to you, and we pray that Guru and Krishna will continue to empower you in the service they have bestowed upon you. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hopefully, was told by Temple Mother that each teacher has 2 minutes to teach. I don't know which one again. So hopefully we meet again. Okay.
So
I said, contact Temple Mother and we'll get back to you regarding the exam and everything.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, Maharaj. So we request all of the devotees to unmute themselves now and let us loudly chant a loud, powerful Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express appreciation for Maharaj for this minute. Please. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Holiness, Bhakti, Swami
Also,
Maharaj.
thank you for tolerating us so much, even though we've been very rascally, coming late and so on and so forth. So we really appreciate how you be so tolerant.
It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Krishna.